Hello, everyone. Our project is optimizing LSTM neural network for retail sales forecasting. I'm Zheren. I'm here with Dominick and Shangming. We set out to answer a pretty practical question. Can we make LSTM forecasting models small enough to run on cheaper hardware without losing that much accuracy? This is a re-implementation study of a published paper that claimed compression actually could help improve performance. We wanted to see if that holds up. And let's end it to the problem slide. Retail forecasting matters because inaccurate demand prediction costs retailers roughly 1.75 of their annual sales. That's real money lost to overstock. And the issue is that the best performing forecasting models right now are heavy LSTMs that needs GPUs and serious computing power. And a regional grocery chain or a corner store just can't run these. So there's a gap. The people who need it most, need cheap forecasting the most, are the ones locked out of their best tools, and that's a problem we're trying to attack. And for our task and data set, we're replicating a published paper on compressed LSTMs. The data set is Kaggle's store item demand forecasting challenge, and it involves like 10 stores, 50 items, 5 years from 2013 to 2017, with a 80 and 20 train test split. The key claim we're testing here is the original paper found that cutting hidden units from 128 down to 64 actually reduced the model size by 73% while improving the accuracy by 47%. They call this a U-shaped relationship, and that moderate compression actually helps because smaller models overfit less to noise, and that's the hypothesis we want to validate.
Here is the pipeline of our project. First, we get the data from the cargoes. Then we propose the data, like build the feature and lag signals, and use min-max scale features. And then is the most important part, the single layer LSTM models. Here is the detail of it. We use 5 different height and size, and we also use the dropout layer, dense layer, and then connect to output layers. Then we use the outcome from the LSTM models to predict our data. And we also use various of evaluations to evaluate our outcome and predict. Here are some results of our exam. And first is the linear regression baselines. From this figure, you could see that the data is consistent year-over-year growth, no linear annual trends with distinct summer peaks and hydrostatistics. But the linear regression cannot capture some complex features, so the map is only about 40.82, and then it's the LSTM results. And we could see that LSTM 48 have the lowest map. Is much lower than the largest models, and it also have only 0.51 latency.
Yeah, continuing our discussion here, we can see that we did find a U shape. We see that the error rate falls significantly and hits its lowest with our 48 hidden unit model, which is fantastic. So that kind of proves our hypothesis. However, we did find a different sweet spot because the paper found the sweet spot specifically at the 64 hidden unit model, while we found ours at 48. But no matter what, this is a definite improvement over the linear regression, which you can see is represented by that green dashed line. So finally, we can conclude that the compression in the LSTM model did reduce the model size and actually improved accuracy as seen in that 48 hidden unit model. And we learned really that simplicity is not always a limitation, but also that the train test split is a critical decision. And that is where we think that might have caused specifically the differences between our findings and that paper that we were trying to replicate. The paper used a multi-fold cross-validation, and we didn't do that. We just did kind of a simple temporal split to maintain kind of computational simplicity and not add too much complexity. But that's an area where we would improve in the future. And we think that there also just might have been minor variations in feature engineering that might have caused those differences.